Shout out to YellowLeaf3109 for this video suggestion. The interesting story and lore behind the glyphs in Assassin's Creed is as fascinating as the symbols themselves. They are the work of a desperate man trapped in the Animus, trying to leave breadcrumbs of knowledge for those who will come after him. Each glyph tells a part of a hidden story, a puzzle that once solved reveals a piece of the truth. What is that truth, you may ask? Well, I'll talk about that later in the video. From uncovering a piece of Eden during the landing of the moon, to Gandhi's secret apple of Eden, to Clay Kaczmarek's very tragic story, the glyphs connect events across literal time and space, highlighting humanity's quest for power, knowledge and freedom. You know, I remember back when Assassin's Creed 2 first released, I was terrified to uncover these glyphs. Each one felt like it was bringing me closer to unlocking something dark and disturbing about humanity's hidden secrets. Did anybody else have that feeling as well, or am I just a big fat p***? Anyway, in this video, I want to dive deep into the origins of the glyphs, the secret messages they carry, and their locations across the digital representation of Renaissance Italy. I'll explore how they fit into the larger narrative of Assassin's Creed, what secrets they reveal about the world and its hidden history, and why they remain one of the most fascinating and, to some people, confusing pieces of lore in the series. But wait, I have an announcement to make. I've launched a Patreon. Now, before you skip this part, I know what you're thinking.
Oh brother, this guy stinks!
But hear me out. First of all, hand over your money. Nah, I'm just kidding. First and foremost, I want to say you absolutely don't need to join the Patreon. It's entirely up to you. Just you watching my YouTube videos is way more than enough, and I appreciate every single one of you. But if you do decide to join, you'll not only be supporting me, which will help me massively in making new videos and becoming even more consistent, but also get access to some pretty cool perks such as early access to future videos, behind the scenes of projects, exclusive polls, shoutouts on all my videos, and a lot more. You can see all the tiers by pressing the link down in the description below. Now that I've said that, let's get back into the video. To first understand the glyphs, we need to go back and talk about where they came from and who they came from. So the origins of the glyphs are tied to a man named Clay Kaczmarek, better known as Subject 16. You see, Clay was an assassin captured by Abstergo, who we know as the Templar organization behind the Animus project, a machine that lets people experience the lives of their ancestors through their DNA. Clay was treated very harshly during his time in the Animus Abstergo. As part of their ruthless experimentation, Abstergo subjected Clay to prolonged and intense sessions in the Animus, forcing him to relive his ancestors' memories for hours on end. This relentless mental strain began to take a severe toll on Clay's mind, leading to a state of mental instability and eventually causing him to lose his grip on reality. What was Abstergo's reasonings for this torture? Well, Abstergo's primary concern was extracting valuable information from Clay with little regard for his well-being. They kept him isolated and under constant surveillance, treating him more like a tool than a human being. Now, while Clay was trapped in the Animus for long sessions, he began to uncover a secret he called the truth, which I'll discuss later in the video. Realizing he could not share this information openly, he decided to hide it in a different way. Clay knew his time was limited, so he hacked into the Animus and embedded pieces of this secret in the form of glyphs. These were strange symbols scattered across what we would know as Renaissance Italy in Assassin's Creed 2, but of course the digital landscape of it via the Animus. Each glyph was an encrypted data fragment hidden on various structures and landmarks that could only be accessed by somebody using the Animus. To leave a clue for the next person to use the machine, Clay also left cryptic drawings in his own blood all over the Animus project laboratory, warning them to look for these symbols in the simulation, and that's where Subject 17, also known as Desmond Miles, comes into play. You see, by the time Desmond Miles was put into the Animus, Abstergo had pretty much wiped away most of Clay's blood messages. But the thing is, Desmond began to experience something called a bleeding effect, which gave him some of the skills and abilities of his ancestors. This effect also let him see Clay's hidden messages. Now, at first, Desmond could not make any sense of them, but he eventually discovered that Clay had hidden something very secretive and important in the simulation. At the start of Assassin's Creed 2, during a pretty intense escape from Abstergo, Desmond's ally, who at that time was Lucy Stillman, grabbed the memory core of the Animus. Now, what she did not know when she grabbed this memory core is that the core would contain all the data that Clay had tampered with. When the data was loaded into the Animus 2.0, the glyphs were transferred along with it. Desmond and his team soon realized that these symbols were scattered throughout the memories of Ezio Auditore, and they started to piece together how the glyphs had been planted by Clay. As Desmond explored the virtual world of Renaissance Italy, he found many of the symbols resembling those Clay had drawn in blood. These symbols, or glyphs, needed to be scanned using eagle vision, a special ability that lets Desmond see things that others could not. Each glyph contained a puzzle, and solving these puzzles revealed short clips of a mysterious video Clay had hidden. When all the glyphs were finally discovered and the puzzles were solved, these clips came together to form the video called The Truth, showing Adam and Eve fleeing through the Garden of Eden with a stolen apple of Eden. There were 20 glyphs to uncover in Assassin's Creed 2, and these glyphs are much more than hidden symbols. These were clues leading to a series of puzzles that reveal something called the Truth, a secret video file left behind by Subject 16. As Desmond discovers these glyphs scattered across various historical landmarks, each one unlocks a hidden puzzle that slowly unravels pieces of the hidden narrative. Let's explore these puzzles tied to each of the 20 glyphs, and what they reveal about the deeper Assassin's Creed lore. The first glyph is named In the Beginning, and within this glyph we get introduced to Subject 16's voice, explaining that everything known is a lie and that the truth file has been divided into 20 parts. The puzzle involves identifying apples in various paintings, hinting at the Apple of Eden's role in shaping human history. Glyph number 2, named 64 Squares, is about forming images rotating different rings. The idea here is discovering the apples of Eden that well-known historical figures possessed, such as Queen Elizabeth, Napoleon, and even George Washington. Funnily enough, future Assassin's Creed games after this showed some lore relating to this. Glyph 3 is named Descendants. In this puzzle, we must locate hidden apples of Eden in several images under infrared light. The puzzle also features Morse code and ciphers that reference secret societies, and historical figures like Franklin D. Roosevelt and Mahatma Gandhi, revealing their connections to the Apple of Eden. Glyph 4, also known as Infinite Knowledge, requires us to find hidden images within photographs. Images such as a burning base camp in Vietnam, an infantry division under fire in 1944, troops in formation in 1862, and also the first pictorial representation of a gun. Each photo hidden in these images contains messages encrypted in various ciphers, like references to the Antikythera mechanism and ancient irradiated cities, hinting at the long-standing presence of the Pieces of Eden. Glyph 5 is known as Instruments of Power. We're starting to very slowly but surely hear Clay's attempts at understanding what is going on. We choose images with a common theme, a sword in the first selection, and a staff in the second selection. These are of course to symbolize powerful weapons that shaped history. It also illustrates how the Pieces of Eden have often taken the form of influential artifacts. Glyph number 6 is named Brothers, and in this glyph, it features puzzles where we rotate rings to form images of Cain slaying Abel, suggesting a lineage of power and conflict passed down through history. It ties biblical stories to the Assassin Templar War, suggesting a much older origin to their struggle. Glyph number 7, named Keep On Seeking and You Will Find, involves identifying images containing a red shroud and then scanning a picture of the crucified Christ to find a Shroud of Eden. We know that the Shroud of Eden in Assassin's Creed lore is capable of restoration and healing, so to see it near or with Jesus on his crucifixion suggests that something is up here. We can also see the phrase, "They took it," which suggests Templar involvement in key historical events, showing their control over artifacts like the Shroud. So it makes you wonder, how far back does all of this go? Glyph number 8 is named Martyrs, and using sonar signals, we can locate a piece of Eden in historical images. Each image has hidden messages pointing to the fates of figures like Nicholas II of Russia and Joan of Arc, suggesting the influence of the Pieces of Eden in their deaths. We can see hidden binary messages that relate to the date Joan was burned to the stake, as well as a binary cipher that reads the date when Nicholas II and his family were murdered and lost the Staff of Eden. It starts to get a lot more strange, as we're now seeing historical figures being influenced by Pieces of Eden, as well as the Templars' control over the population. Glyph 9, called Hat-Trick, involves us using sonar to locate another piece of Eden and solving a Caesar cipher. The puzzle suggests a pattern of cover-ups and manipulation, featuring famous figures like Houdini and Gandhi, who were seemingly targeted or influenced by the Templars. The puzzle hints that their deaths were also covered up by the Templars. The second part of the puzzle focuses on solving a Caesar cipher to uncover a code, accompanied by a message from Subject 16, who says, "Where has Jack gone?" Here, Jack is a reference to John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States. This glyph implies that the Templars were planning to assassinate JFK because he intended to give more power to the people by expanding voting rights. The puzzle suggests that the Templars orchestrated JFK's assassination by setting up a planned route and using an Apple of Eden to create a diversion. Their goal was to assassinate JFK and retrieve PE3, which stands for Piece of Eden 3, aka the Apple of Eden in JFK's possession. Glyph 10 is named Apollo. It starts with Subject 16 talking about how up there in the sky is something that was abandoned. The puzzle revolves around locating and identifying the Apollo 11 landing module. Hidden Masonic symbols and messages reveal how secret organizations like the Templars may have manipulated significant events like the moon landing. And then we also solve another puzzle which involves finding an Apple of Eden on the moon. We can also see Templar insignias on the flag, which indicate just how deep this rabbit hole goes. Glyph 11 is named the Inventor, and this puzzle involves lighting up bulbs on a world map and finding hidden images. It references Nikola Tesla, who was one of the main contributors to the invention of commercial electricity, and hints at his discoveries and their potential connection to the Pieces of Eden, which the Templars wanted and used to drive him insane. Glyph 12, called Titans of Industry, has some pretty wild puzzles and connections. First, you solve a Caesar cipher to get an access code. Then you find a letter supposedly sent by Thomas Edison, the famous American inventor known for the light bulb. The letter hints that Edison used his influence to discredit Nikola Tesla, as Tesla's ideas for free access to information were getting in the way of Edison's plans with a person named Mr. Morgan. The next puzzle involves breaking all the light bulbs, which leads to a disturbing video of Edison testing electric currents on an elephant. After that, an image appears showing an apple of Eden in the hands of Mark Twain, who is seen connecting wires to it. The scene suggests that Twain wanted everybody to know the truth, with Tesla watching on in the background. Then you solve another Caesar cipher, and things get even crazier. You come across a letter from Henry Ford, the founder of the Ford Motor Company, to Thomas Edison. The letter hints at a dark situation unfolding, mentioning someone referred to as H. It's implied that H is in fact Hitler, and the letter suggests that Ford and Edison may have helped Hitler start World War II. That's a pretty intense twist for an Assassin's Creed game. What's really interesting is that in real history, Henry Ford was known for his anti-Semitic views and even admired Hitler. So when people say Assassin's Creed can teach you a thing or two about history, they're not exactly wrong, are they? Glyph 13, which is named I Am Become Death, the Destroyer of Worlds, and it focuses on the disturbing reality of the atom bomb and Oppenheimer. After solving the Caesar cipher for this puzzle, a disturbing letter is shown revealing authorization for Oppenheimer to use the atom bomb to eradicate the populace to bring about a new world order. A red button will then appear, and once pressed, a video of the real-life first ever US nuclear bomb test will play. After that, another puzzle will appear involving a Geiger counter to find a hidden code, which reads out to 71645. Now, I'm not sure what this number means, as it's not really explained, but it could suggest the Templars' involvement in controlling these powerful technologies. Glyph 14, called Bloodline, starts off on a disturbing note, with Subject 16 emotionally describing how Abstergo keeps experimenting on him in the Animus, causing him to slowly lose control. He talks about experiencing all sorts of events, from being a soldier in the Battle of Gettysburg, to stabbing somebody, being in bed with a soprano at an opera, speaking at the Forum in Rome, hunting in a forest, and even seeing the moon. It all highlights the mental torture he's going through, because of Abstergo's constant manipulation. The puzzle here is all about finding images that show the union of gods and mortals, linking the genetic manipulation by the first civilization with the origins of humans. Glyph 15, named Guardians, involves rotating rings of what appears to be the famous painting known as Ivan the Terrible and his son Ivan. In Assassin's Creed lore, Ivan the son is affiliated with the Templars, and the painting depicts Ivan the Terrible cradling his dying son after he himself dealt the final blow. It does appear that this painting here is showing us that the assassins are fighting back, because the next image highlights Templar-only assassination targets on a global map. It just emphasizes the constant battle between the assassins and Templars, and how they shape key events throughout history. Glyph 16, also known as the Cavalry, starts off with Subject 16 more and more slowly losing his mind, as he cannot remember the date of an event. We then see a letter which points to the Tunguska event and Tesla's research. The first puzzle involves choosing Tunguska on a world map, and the second puzzle involves moving a Staff of Eden cursor to the portrait of Nikola Tesla. After this, a video of an explosion can be seen, which is a recording of the Tunguska explosion. For those that don't know, the Tunguska explosion was the result of an assassin attack which involved a piece of Eden and a research station which went kaboom. This glyph was the information collected by Subject 16 for Desmond to find. Glyph 17, named The Bunker, appears to show us images related to World War II. After solving the Caesar cipher, a message appears in which it mentions that Hitler, who was supposed to take out his body double while he planned to meet with an agent known as C, who was carrying a piece of Eden. However, what the letter does not mention is, as Hitler was leaving the bunker, the Assassin Brotherhood intercepted and executed him that same night. It's believed that he had intended to escape to South America and disappear for good. The glyph also shows images of the Führer bunker, which was used by Hitler during World War II. Another image appears shortly after, showing the assassins had destroyed the bunker. Glyph 18, which is named Synapses, first starts off with Subject 16 pretty much on the brink of giving up. He mentions raising a knife, which, if you don't know, is most likely the same knife he used when he unfortunately took his own life. Subject 16 also references Genesis, which is said to be a reference to the origin or the creation of Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, Noah's Ark, and many more in the first book of the Bible. After solving this Caesar cipher in this glyph, a letter will appear. Now, there is not much information regarding this letter that I can find, but from my understanding of reading it, this letter could relate to the manipulation of human evolution by the first civilization, who are known to have tampered with human genetics to create humans that could be controlled by pieces of Eden. The newly discovered neurotransmitter, as said in this letter, might be a remnant of this manipulation. The second puzzle in this glyph involves hovering around all the synapses in this image to reveal the password at the end. Glyph 19 is slowly becoming the end of these glyphs. It's named the 4th day, and subject 16 is now pretty much in a state of collapse. The puzzle here involves choosing the correct images that relate to different depictions of the sun. We then use sonar signals to find Earth within the sun. There is also a hidden message that can be found which reads out to, "A container of ashes might one day be thrown from the sky, which would burn the land and boil the ocean. Hopi." Now, this may perhaps be a reference to the solar flare danger that's not yet mentioned at this point, but it could perhaps be. The last and final glyph, which is Glyph 20, is named Origin of the Species, and Subject 16 has finally uncovered the truth that everything around us, whether it's signs, paintings, faces, documents, are all a conspiracy, but we don't see it. The puzzle here involves rotating rings over an image that appears to be Christian allegory, which symbolizes the cosmos held by God in the presence of Christ and the Church. We then need to find the hidden image in the painting that appears to be the Vitruvian Man created by Leonardo da Vinci, which I believe is a painting that shows Da Vinci's study of the human form, which is said to be perfectly proportionate throughout the application of geometry and mathematics. After that, we can hear Subject 16 cry that he's giving up and it's time to finally get out. The puzzle here has the phrase, "Nothing is true, everything is permitted," which means any answer you input here will be correct. After entering the password, a message appears, which seems to be an internal Abstergo Corporation letter. Now, in this letter, it appears that the Templars fear the discovery of artifacts, likely pieces of Eden or other objects related to the first civilization, which could reveal the truth about humanity's origins and the Templars' involvement in manipulating them. To prevent this, the Templars plan to fabricate evidence by planting constructed skeletons near the site of Tim White's expedition in Ethiopia, essentially creating a false missing link to align with the accepted evolutionary timeline. This glyph sadly ends with Subject 16's tragic final words, as well as altering the image of the hominid skeleton into a human one. So this is it. After revealing all the glyphs, we're now able to unveil and uncover the truth behind everything leading up to this moment. What message was Subject 16 leaving for us behind, and was uncovering all 20 glyphs worth it? While the truth video reveals something profound and unsettling, the origins of humanity and the hidden influence of the first civilization, also known as those who came before. The footage shows Adam and Eve dressed in skin-colored or translucent bodysuits running through a futuristic garden. The landscape is a strange mix of natural elements, but regardless, it does seem like the garden itself appears highly advanced and alien in design. Adam and Eve are seen running towards a large building, moving to a circular automatic door. As they climb the building, they pause at a massive window, revealing a shadowy figure holding an apple of Eden. Surrounding this figure are several human slaves, working in what looks like a metal refinery. One of the slaves is hammering away at a piece of metal, clearly under the control of the artifact. The video continues with Adam and Eve reaching the rooftop of the building. Eve is then shown holding a piece of Eden, calling out to Adam, "I have it." The two turn and look behind them, apparently realizing they are being chased. Eve warns Adam, "Look out," before the screen cuts to black, after which a binary code flashes up, which translates to Eden. Now interestingly, the code has 20 zeros and 12 ones, which very smartly is a subtle nod to the supposed doomsday year of 2012. It appears the truth video suggests that Adam and Eve were not just biblical figures, but early rebels against the first civilization. The slaves and advanced surroundings hint that humans were created or manipulated to serve these higher beings. By Assassin's Creed 2 showing us Adam and Eve escaping with a piece of Eden, the video implies that humanity's desire for freedom began much earlier than we thought, and that our entire history may have been shaped by these powerful artifacts, and the conflicts they caused. For us to uncover all 20 glyphs, and then to uncover the truth file, we learn a lot that much of what humanity believes is built on deception and manipulation. This truth file challenges everything Desmond, and by extension we the player, thinks they know about human history, revealing a hidden struggle for control that's been going on for centuries. While the glyphs in Assassin's Creed 2 provide one fascinating secret of hidden lore, there's even more to uncover with the rifts. These rifts add more mystery. Now, rifts are essentially breaks or glitches in the programming of genetic memories within the Animus simulation. Unlike the static glyphs that we saw in Assassin's Creed 2, which are symbols that are embedded in certain locations, rifts are dynamic, almost like tears in the digital fabric of the virtual world. They are intentionally placed by third parties, like Subject 16, to expose hidden information to the Animus user. These rifts are found in important locations, often only appearing when Desmond uses eagle vision while reliving the life of Ezio in Rome. There were 10 rifts scattered across Rome, each hidden on important landmarks such as the Pantheon, the Vatican, and other historical sites. To access a rift, we needed to locate its edge using eagle vision and then climb inside. Once inside, we'd be faced with puzzles created by clay, similar to those associated with the glyphs. However, the Rifts took these puzzles a step further, featuring more difficult challenges like decoding, sound wave matching, and even playing out scenarios on a chessboard. While they were intellectually challenging, they were also loaded with hidden messages and coded clues that reveal some of Abstergo's darkest secrets. These puzzles use everything from coded numbers and musical notes to Morse code, all designed to hide information about Abstergo's origins and its activities as a friend for the Templars. One example of a Rift puzzle type is the Quarantine Zone puzzle, which was always the final challenge in each Rift. We see a black screen with a small crosshair that revealed red blinking dots against the background image. We, the player, had to activate all these dots within a limited time to solve the puzzle and unlock the hidden video clip within that particular Rift. Unlike the Glyphs, which gradually unlock the truth video as they are solved, completing the final Rift puzzle does not lead to another hidden video. Instead, we're greeted with a cryptic message that reads out to, "The miracle is in the execution." This message is accompanied by what appears to be the ultrasound of an unborn child, suggesting a new life or beginning. At first, the modern day assassins thought that this was a video, but they soon realized that it was actually an encrypted file. It turned out to be a course, similar to the Animus virtual training program. At the end of the program, Desmond was presented with a digital image of Clay Kaczmarek, who began speaking cryptically about Eve, the sun, Desmond's son, Eden, and a looming darkness. Before Desmond could fully understand the meaning of Clay's words, the image of Clay disappeared, leaving behind even more questions about the hidden truths and the future that lay ahead. And that's the last we've heard of when it comes to the Glyphs and the Rifts in Assassin's Creed. It turns out these mysterious symbols we encountered in Assassin's Creed 2 and also Brotherhood appear to be some pretty detailed lore dumps about centuries of secrets, conspiracies, and the ongoing battle between the Assassins and Templars. So the next time you explore Renaissance Italy in Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, keep an eye out for these hidden symbols and secrets, and do remember exactly what was said in this video. Now, if you did enjoy this video, do leave a comment with what you'd like to see next. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one.